Ah, there we go. All sorted. Sorry about that, I had some technical difficulties there, folks. But either way, now we're back up and running. Hello, everybody, once again to another round of Hyper Tier Racing, Tier 1. We are currently in Japan. And so let's see what's going on over here then. There we go, sound's back up and running, and we are ready. Oh, do apologise about that, everybody. It was the stream was kind of fighting with me, but either way, hello everybody, and welcome to Hyper Tier Racing. My name is Sir Badger, and I will be commentating on tonight's race. So, what can I say about Suzuka? It's a historic track, full of many brilliant races. Many championships have been decided at this track, and it's one of my favourites on the calendar. Well, one of my personal favourites, I should say. But to be fair, I think everybody loves Suzuka, all for the same reasons. So, yeah, let's just see how everything goes. So we've currently got on an outlap Matt, Thalo, Armour King, Smiggy, Harvey, and Creations. So let's have a look at the standings as we are right now. Everything's changed since I last commentated. Currently looking. So as it stands, Creations is first, but right behind in the McLaren is Positive with 185 points. So the championship is getting quite close for comfort for both of these two drivers. But I have no doubt that it's going to end up getting brought down to the wire. Have a yellow flag. Let's see. Oh, and Thalo spun and a 5-place grid penalty for Smiggy for colliding with Matthew. That's going to impact his race quite poorly, unfortunately for him. That's interesting. Oh, and we've had another spin. We've had another spin from Thalo. Oh dear. Not off to a great start, it's Thalo. And behind him is the Aston Martin of Harvey, and Thalo has stopped on track. Now let's go on board with Matthew. See how that goes. And we have some early overtaking. Don't even need to wait for the race just yet. Everybody's already overtaking each other, getting some practice in. Nearly everybody is out on track apart from the Alfa Romeo of IK Verlies. I hope I said that right. I do hope I said that right. Let's go on board with... Oh, who's that who's just gone past? I do believe that is a Red Bull. And it is the Red Bull of Armour King. Let's see how fast he can go around the track. And he's got purple around the second sector. And Harvey has set the first fastest lap of a 1 minute 30.5. Let's see how Armour King does. Not quite enough. That's a surprising call from Harvey there on a mediums on this track. Maybe he's trying to save all this off. And Creations sets a 129.6. Matthew with a 151.933. But I'm sure that he'll be wanting to improve on that. As he comes around the track, let's go on board with him again, see how he does on this. Although his fuel is low, and it's not really a good thing on this track because you could end up getting stranded anywhere and it could ruin other people's qualifying. Petsky with a 131.58. Now, one thing that will be harmful to the championship is the fact that Positive is a no-show tonight, so that just allows Creations to build up points against Positive in the championship. And the McLaren spun, that's Deza. Come on, Des, get back on track, mate. Come on. We know you can do this. But everybody feel free to leave a comment in the track about all the action. Any questions about the race, and we have another yellow flag. Oh, green flag yet again. Oh, and that was a very risky corner done by Matthew, going on the grass there, but it still stands, the lap still stands. Taking good corners there on the last sector. Back onto the main straight. Will he be able to beat the lap? No, he goes for a 1:30.002. And whilst I was talking, Benjamin has set a 1:29.8. He's looking to try challenge Creations today. And I think, by the looks of things now, Matthew might be getting a bit low on fuel there. And I think he's gone into low fuel mode. Yes, he has. He's gone into low fuel mode. He needs to be careful of the other drivers behind. So let's go on board with Benjamin now. Into the final sector there. Good corners. Good corner in there in the chicane. Oh, and he's gone into the pits. Not quite what I was expecting there. Ennis Bay going around track now. Just coming into Sector 2, bordering Sector 3 now. Oh, and looks like Ennis Bay has gone into low fuel mode as well, and he's pulling over. He's pulling over. And Smiggy on his outlap. And I think Matthew will be nursing his way into the pits. So let's see how Smiggy does around the track. Into the first corner. Fast into the corner, but not too fast. That's from Smiggy. And he's spun! He's spun, oh no! That is not what he wanted to happen. That is definitely not what he wanted to happen this evening. Seems to be a lot of spins on tonight's track. But good sportsmanship there, letting the Aston and the Red Bull pass. I don't know why I keep saying Aston, it's obviously a AlphaTauri. Sorry everybody, I seem to be getting everything wrong tonight. So the only person on a lap now is Smiggy, but after that spin he might need to reconsider and re-evaluate the situation, go into the pits and change for fresh tyres depending on how worn out they are after that spin. No doubt after that he will have a rather large flat spot on those tyres, which won't help him in the long run for running a lot, but stranger things have happened. Creations is now on an outlap and so is Ennis Bay. Verlies is now out on lap, and we have a yellow flag. Green flag yet again. Okay, so into the first sector now. I do apologise if you hear crunching sounds, it's just because I'm eating my dinner. So now, what I'm wondering whether HTR Creations will be able to improve on his lap. But as it stands, Creations is on pole and he will be starting in front of the grid unless someone can knock him off his pedestal. And Smiggy goes fastest in Sector 2, now coming into Sector 3. Let's go on board with him now. A little bit slow into that. And Burley's with a 129.611. Beaten by thousandths of a second there, and Smiggy's bumped himself into third place with 129.7. And Creations answers back to Burley's with a 129.492. Fantastic effort! Now, will anybody be able to stop Burley's and Creations from locking out the front row? Personally, I haven't seen Burley's race myself, but if he continues this into the race, then it's looking very good for him, I must say. So after that, I think Burley's will be coming into the pits to change tyres, as he has invalidated his lap. Just Thallow, Sam and Pepsi left in, but Desert and Raptor are now out on the flying lap. Got a car going slow there, and that, I do believe, is the Alfa Romeo of... I'm not actually sure. And as I suspected, Burley's will be wanting to go into the pits to get fresher tyres to try answer back to Creation's solid lap there. And Benjamin with a 129.267! Even better! Even better news! Looking good over at the Williams pit wall. Now, will Harvey be able to put his car any further up now he's coming out of Sector 3 into the main straight? Will he be able to do it? No! He has improved, but I think his lap was invalidated. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it was. Oh, but he's just invalidated a lap now. Not too good for Harvey there. Now let's go on board with everybody's favourite boss of hyper-tier racing, Desert, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Sets a 130.9, doesn't improve by a lot, but it's an improvement nonetheless. Pepsi's gone into the pits. Now let's have a look at Raptor's lap. Going good into Sector 3, he needs to carry a lot of speed into that corner, but not too much that it could jeopardise his chances here. Into next corner, really good speed there. Now into the final chicane before the main straight. And he's gone into the pits. Oh. Not quite what I was expecting though. Raptor will need to set a lap sooner rather than later if he wants to be anywhere other than the back of the grid. Let's have a look at Matthew's lap. He's on 2-lap-old softs. I'm not sure if that's the best of ideas, but it's an idea nonetheless. And I do believe that Matthew's gone into low fuel mode again, trying to answer to Benjamin's lap, although he has improved in a 129.329. So not all bad news. Once again, everybody, feel free to leave a comment in the chat. And Matthew goes into the pits now. He'll be wanting to refuel. Going into the pits now, and everybody else is either on an outlap or in the pits. Now let's go on board with the championship leader. We're watching creations tonight with very keen eyes. See if we can extend that championship lead. He won't want to DNF tonight, because that would cost him vital points in the championship, and it would mean that Positive is still close behind him in the championship. 1 point separate them at the moment. Here goes Creations on his lap. Coming into sector 3 now, final chicane, carrying a lot of speed into that corner. Very good handling there. And gone into a fast corner, that's really good. Taking the corners really well, hitting all the apexes, using the curves to his advantage. Will he be able to beat the lap? No, he sets a 129.492. Improved on his last lap, but not quite at the level of HTR Benjamin. HSR Benjamin, sorry. And we have a yellow flag. And by the looks of things, it is... But, oh, and Verlies has retired from the session. What happened there? And qualifying is now over, so EcoRaptor will now want to set a very good lap here if he doesn't want to be trapped at the back of the grid. In some ways it's an advantage, so he's not in all of the carnage, and he's crashed! He's crashed! He's currently stuck at the back of the grid, and he's crashed! Awful news for EcoRaptor there. That was unfortunate. So Harvey is currently on his lap. Dezo is currently sat in 11th place. Sam in 8th, Ennis Bay in 6th, and so far for Matt, he is in 2nd place. Now let's go on board with HTR Creation, see if he can't improve on his lap into the last sector, and he got a bit slow through there. I'm not sure if he'll be able to improve, and Benjamin improves on his own lap now with a 121.061, and he can't improve. Creations can't improve, so he's currently sat in the 2nd row with Armour King. And Pepsi's now just crossed the line, and everybody's crossed the line, so now we have our grid for tonight's race. As it looks, we have Ben and Matthew looking out the front row, Creations and Armour King in 2nd, Verlies and Smiggy, Ennis Vallow, Sam, Harvey, Deza, Pepsi, and unfortunately at the back, EcoRaptor. In a way, he might have an advantage as if he can switch off. He's not used too many of his softs and they're not as worn out, so he might have the upper hand when it comes to using softs. So there we are, there's the grid for tonight's race. So how many incidents have we had? I've just remembered someone has got a 5th place grid penalty. And it is Smiggy, so even though he's in 6th, he's in 11th place behind Deza. Which is unfortunate in his situation, but I'm sure he might be able to pull something out of the bag here tonight. So as we're about to go lights out, I'm about to find out what the weather conditions are, and it's looking dry, much to the relief of all the drivers on the grid. I must admit, driving Japan in the rain is a task in of itself. Hopefully the race will start up soon. Sorry for the brief pause there, I was just trying to finish my dinner, as I'd rather not be eating during the race, because I highly doubt anybody wants ASMR midway through the race, which is kind of a stark contrast. Rather large V8 engines that sound really, 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 really overpowered. And then meanwhile me just eating some pasta in your ears, and whether you like it or not, you're getting ASMR. But I don't think anybody would like that. I don't think anybody would ever request that in an F1 race. It'd be like trying to bring an ASMR artist to a special guest show before the race, but here we are. And here we are now. We are on the formation lap. So, to anybody who doesn't know what the formation lap is, it is to heat up everybody's tyres before the race so they have the best chance of getting a good start on the grid. The hotter your tyres are, the better chance you have, but it also comes into play with compounds. Soft compound being the best for grip, but expensive tyre life, so they are the shortest lasting tyres on the selection. Medium, which is a fair balance of life and grip, and then hards sacrifice high grip, making it less easy to make high-speed manoeuvres like you do with softs, but the life in them are good, so it's very good for making a very good strategy call if you want to play the long game, which could result in you getting a podium if you play your cards right. And as I mentioned, I was eating pasta. At this point, I'd like to ask Dolmio if they'd actually give me a sponsorship here. Come on, Dolmio, you know you want to. Sorry, I'm talking twaddle. Oh, and that was an air contact with Benjamin to the wall. I think he went a little bit too heavy on the shaky brakey there. And now the drivers will line up and they want to get into their grid slots. as safely and as accurately as possible, because that can determine how well someone can get off the grid. So as the drivers line up, we're ready to start this race. So as we wait for the red lights to strike, everybody's waiting in anticipation for what will happen next. Hopefully no safety cars will be enforced in tonight's race. Hopefully we'll have good, clean racing and a lot of action. What's going on? And it's lights out, and away we go. We get a good start from Benjamin, but there's an AlphaTauri and there's a big crash at the front. There's a big crash, and Benjamin and Matthew and Deza have just been knocked out, and Thallo's out. Thallo's out of the race and barely even made a corner. And currently we have the AlphaTauri of Verlies in front, followed by Enispe, Sam, and Armour King. Armour King's dropping down at a massive rate here. What's happened there? Oh, and he's spun! He's spun out! So now we have racing action between Sam and Smiggy. Smiggy currently trying to fight for the position back. And we have Enispe at the front, 2 seconds behind. And is he going to overtake him? Oh, there's contact there, but he just makes it in front. Kind of squeezed a little bit there, and Sam's just overtaken Verlies and Smiggy, and I think Verlies has just spun. No, he's dropped back a fair bit. But now Smiggy is currently trying to get behind Sam here, and that's the McLaren of Deza that's just had a yellow flag. Oh no, it's Pepski, sorry, and he's lost his front wing. That'll impact his steering dramatically. I think this has lost his connection, and we have a... Oh no, and Smiggy's been disqualified! He's been disqualified for having too many penalties! We've had a black flag, ladies and gentlemen. A black flag in the Japanese Grand Prix. And... oh, post-migration. That's a bit of an awkward one. Sorry, ladies and gents, racing's definitely not over. It's, host migration. These things can happen on the world of online racing. It's a pain, but it happens. But I think it will give everybody else a chance now, although I think a lot of those incidents then will have been recorded and the stewards room will be quite busy after tonight's race. This is not the winner, this is just a host migration. A host migration. Which basically means someone's Wi-Fi is no good. So, ignore this. Ignore it. The Haas did not win. Well, that was a dramatic beginning to the race, if I do say so myself. Had a crash, a black flag, and an entire server die. Hyper-tier racing, everybody. Right. Okay, let's see if we can't make some sense out of this. Right. That was messy. I've never really dealt with this before, I won't lie. So we're gonna have to figure out who was where on the grid. Unless if we're going to do another one-shot qualifying to determine who's going to be at the front, which might be the case, as unfortunately we can't look back on the grid standings as this is a current live stream. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to do this next, as it's, again, I've never really dealt with this, it's out of my hands, so the race will be delayed this evening. Oh, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to sneeze. Oh. Oh dear. I do apologise. I must say, hay fever sucks when you own guinea pigs in your bedroom. Hopefully the race gets back underway soon, because I was actually right enjoying that race. It was possibly one of the most eventful races I've ever commentated on. Oh, goodness sake! I hate sneezing, it sucks! Ugh. What the? That was a mixture between a cough and a sneeze. Lord help everybody if I do a burp snort. Sorry, I'm just currently trying to make this session entertaining while we get the racing back. Hopefully, we've had some of our fellow racers in Hypertier looking at this stream and being able to help us reform this grid. I feel another sneeze coming on, but I really don't want to sneeze. I do not want to sneeze. I am the master of my own nose. I don't want to sneeze. But everybody put in the comment section what you thought of that race start, because I must say that is the most chaotic race start I have ever seen in the history of Hypertier Racing. In all of the 2 years that I've been here, that is the most chaotic start I have ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen a black flag in a race in all my time of having this game. And the games before. But Smiggy might need to calm it a little bit. I don't know if any of it was his fault or he just got caught in the crossfire. But hopefully this race restart should give everybody a chance to re-strategize, and if they went for the wrong tyre or made the wrong call, they'll be able to edit everything a little bit quicker. Itchy nose now. Okay, race restart. Brilliant! Time to actually watch what we all here for. The race. I don't think we want to see host migration at any point. Nor delay the race any further. I've just got a message from one of my mates watching the stream. Well, I say watching the stream, more just having a spectate over here. And I was commenting on Smiggy's, shall we say, performance at the beginning of this race. And basically, I've been sneezing because of hay fever, because I own guinea pigs and hay does not agree with me sometimes. And they've said maybe his hay fever kicked in too. I don't think Smiggy would sneeze at the wheel, but if he did, then sorry to hear that. And finally we have the race back underway. Hopefully we don't have another host migration. Otherwise, yeah, that'd delay the race even more, and we don't want that, do we, folks? It's not our favourite thing to do. And by the looks of things, we've actually reformed the grids properly as it was before. That's pretty good. Although we are now down a driver. We had 13, we are now on 12. I don't know where the 13th driver is, but yeah, disappeared. Disappeared into thin air.
Is which teams have got it right, and which ones have got it horribly wrong.
Well, as the AI of Crofty there says, who's got it horribly wrong, we'll soon find out. Hopefully we don't have a horrific race start like it was just. I don't mean to be criticising Tier 1 drivers here, because I'm a Tier 2 driver and I don't know much better, but well, just fair, this should give me an insight onto how to take race start tomorrow when I'm driving. And here we go, race start once again. And red lights again. And it's lights out, and away we go. Hopefully we have a better start from everybody here. And no, we've got a crash! We've got a crash, and everybody at the back of the grid. Oh, Des has been retired! Oh no! We've had retirements already. Creations has fallen down to the back of the grid. So has Armour King, so has Pepsi, and Benjamin's right in front, followed by NSB, and Eco Raptor has just overtaken Thallow, and NSB has now got a 5-second time penalty for colliding with Matthew and gaining 2 places because of such event. So, not very good for NSB here, but Matthew is currently fighting against Harvey Booth here. So let's go on board with him, see how close Harvey's getting to him. So there's about 7 tenths, but he seems to be putting the space between him and Harvey. However, Raptor has just made an overtake on Harvey here, but Harvey is really lacking in speed here because he's missing his entire front wing, which will be impacting his speed and aerodynamics drastically. Ennisbay is going to want to keep clean for the rest of this race. Otherwise, if they can't put enough space between the car and the back, he's going to end up getting marked down. And he's hit some cones, some unfortunate. Pepsi's made an overtake on Harvey Booth. Harvey will be wanting to pit as soon as possible because I don't think he'll be able to nurse that. And Ben with a 135.5 on the hards, and we're about to see an overtake between Ennisbay and no. Ben keeps it clean and in front, and Ennisbay's made a mistake there. And Sam's retired from the session. He's retired. I think he's pulled his car in and he's retired. Thank goodness for that. No safety car. Fair, quite frankly, after that last race, I'm surprised we didn't have a safety car right off the bat, but and we have a yellow flag, and it is the Ferrari of Ecos Raptor. Not a brilliant start for the race in terms of clean racing, and it's unfortunate for Deza about him DNFing before he could make the first corner. We rise, Des, you'll be fine. So now Ennisbay is catching up to Benjamin within his slipstream. He'll be wanting to keep behind Ben to make sure that he's within DRS range when it opens on the third lap. So let's turn the hood off and see the racing from this angle, and here we go. DRS will now be enabled here. And will he catch up to Ben? No. But we seem to have the other half of Smiggy slowly catching his teammate here. Let's go on board with Ben in front. He'll be wanting to keep his race as clean as possible, not trying to go too hard into corners, otherwise he'll spin out and that would cost him good positions here. And Ben's gone another fastest lap, a 1:33.80. He's smashing his lap times here, and DRS is enabled as it's just said on the screen. We now have Creations at the back. Creations will be wanting to fight his way back up to the top, otherwise this could cost him crucial points in the championship against Positive. But I know Positive, and he can race really, really well. I know that for a fact, considering it was down to the wire last season and he lost out on a championship due to the current champion, Matthew, coming in first place and getting fastest lap, which secured the championship for him. So now let's go on board with Ennisbay here. DRS is now enabled. Ben with another fastest lap. Is he catching with DRS? No. Yes. He's now beginning to catch, but it's not quite enough. Still 0.5 of a second behind. Now he's dropping back to 0.6. And as it stands, Matthew is currently trying to fight Smiggy for a position. And Creations is trying to work his way back up the grid by overtaking Armour King. Go on board with Creations here, see how he manages. And Harvey Booth has just set a 1:32.662 on a set of mediums. Not what I was expecting, but good job to Harvey here. And he's just overtaken. Creations has just overtaken Armour King, and he's putting space between him and Armour King, and now got to make a 4-second jump to behind Thallow, and then he's got to close the gap, and we have and Harvey Booth has retired after getting fastest lap, and that will no doubt be a safety car. His wheels hanging off, and that will no doubt be a safety car, and the safety car has been released, so this will allow any strategy changes to, and it will also allow anybody who has damage to change damage, like change their damaged wings, change tyres, and it will close the gap between Creations and Thallow, as the safety car will allow them to get all bunched up and close again. So now we have 4 cars in the pits. Let's see what strategy they are going for now. They might go on from a medium to hard to a soft strategy. We have mediums from Eco and Matthew, and we have hards from Pepsi and Smiggy. Board with Ben. All the cars are now caught up, so hopefully the race will get back underway now that the safety car is coming in, and it is. The safety car is coming in. So we will have a green flag in a moment. We'll get back to racing speed. And we're back to racing speed, and Ben has a really good getaway, and Smiggy has overtaken Matthew, and Ennis Bay is looking for an overtake now too, and he doesn't manage to get an overtake, and Thallow overtakes everybody here, and we have a yellow flag at the back of the grid. space between 9th place and 8th place, but everybody else is fairly close together. Everybody will be looking for overtakes here, so now the closest gap we have is between Matthew and Smiggy. Let's see Matthew and Smiggy battle it out. Now Matthew will be wanting to keep... Oh, and will he be able to make an overtake? And yes, he does! He makes an overtake, and Smiggy is close on his tail. Smiggy's close. Raptor is now getting incredibly close up to Smiggy, trying to overtake Smiggy here. Will he be able to make a move? I do apologise about the silence, I'm just intently watching Eco-Raptor's slow but sure attempts on an overtake, and we have an overtake button activated. He'll want to get at least half a car length in front, and we've had contact between Smiggy and Eco-Raptor, but Eco-Raptor gets in front, and meanwhile Thallo's trying to overtake Smiggy, and Smiggy's trying to get back in front of Eco-Raptor, and Matthew's currently trying to get into second place, and we have an overtake here, and there's contact, and hasn't quite made an overtake, but here comes Thallo on the inside. DRS is enabled again, and Matthew set a fastest lap, and now we're looking at an overtake here from Thallo. Will he make the overtake? Will he be able to make the overtake? And he does! He's now in front of Eco-Raptor. The Alpine has overtaken the Ferrari. Meanwhile, up in front, Matthew is 2 tenths behind. And we have got a yellow flag. And it looks like it's Creations. Creations is unfortunately not having a very good race tonight. Got to keep his cool to try and make sure he's still in this race. So now Ennis Bay is getting ever closer towards Matthew. Matthew's made an overtake on Ennis Bay. I didn't manage to catch that as I was looking at what happened with Creations. And Smiggy overtakes Thallo, and Thallo's dropping back, and we have a yellow flag. The yellow flag is now gone. We are on green flag. Green flag conditions in sector 1 going through to 2. Armour King is now trying to make an overtake on Smiggy here. Let's see if Armour King in that Red Bull can try and make an overtake on the Haas. Hasn't quite made it, but he will have DRS going into this sector, and this is where I will find out if he's got the... He has got overtake, but I don't think he's using it as of yet. I think he's trying to save as much as his overtake button as physically possible, as he doesn't want to have to harvest any more energy than he needs to. He's going to conserve it, and when he's close enough, he will make a move. The only close fight I can see other than Armour King and Smiggy is between Ennis Bay and Matthew, but that gap has now been extended. So, and we have another yellow flag, green flag, back to racing speed. In case anybody's wondering, yellow flags mean that there's danger on track, and if a yellow flag goes to the point of a crash or a stoppage on track, it will either result in a virtual safety car depending on the severity, and if it's on track, it generally results into a safety car where everybody will have to increase their delta speed by slowing down, staying within the delta, going slow enough to avoid getting any drive-through penalties or time penalties that will go against them at the end of the race, which could result in them dropping down in places at the end of the race. Matthew's currently improved on his lap of a 132.4, proving that, and now we've got an overtake button and DRS, and he makes light work of Smiggy. Smiggy gets overtaken by Armour King. Now let's go to Smiggy's screen, and let's see if Smiggy can fight for that position back. Eco Raptor's now trying to catch up to the Alpine of Fallow. Petsky's also trying to overtake Creations. Creations will want to have a very clean race after that poor start. And Smiggy's catching up to him. He'll want good exits coming out of each corner. That was a slight mistake, but he's managed to readjust back on track. He's going to use his overtake button to try to close the gap between himself and Armour King. And Matthew's going to try and make an overtake into first place. Go on board with Matthew here. So now we've got DRS using his overtake button here. Is he going to be able to make an overtake? Has he got enough pace to overtake that Williams? Has he done it? Has he done it? And he has! Matthew is into first place in front of the Williams of Ben. A solid overtake there from Ben. I mean, Matthew. Wrong person. Commending the wrong person. So now we have Ben trying to make up for lost time and catch up to Matthew, try to reclaim his first position back. Creations is getting ever closer to Eco Raptor here. He's making good positions, and Matthew improves on his 132.4 with a 132.1. Currently on lap 13 of 27 here in Suzuka. And Creations has made an overtake on Raptor, now trying to close the 2-second gap between him and Thallow. 3 seconds, sorry. Eco Raptor's now gone onto medium tyres. When he goes into the pits, this will put a 20-second gap between him and Pepsky, so he'll have about a 26-second gap dependent on how quick he gets out of the pits, and he's, by the looks of things, he's got out of the pits fairly well here. And he's back onto mediums, but he'll need to be careful with those tyres. He'll need to heat those tyres up very carefully so he doesn't spin out and jeopardise his race. So now we've got two battles here. We've got a battle for 4th position between Smiggy and Armour King, and a battle for 1st position between Ben and Matthew here at Suzuka. and the gap has been extended. DRS will not be available, and he can't use his overtake button as he's only got 3%. Now, as a quick explanation of how the ERS works, ERS is an extra power boost to the engine that allows you to go faster, but it will wear your battery down, which will eventually cost your overall speed dearly. And the way you get your charge back is by taking good corners while coasting off the throttle, and it will eventually charge your battery. Your battery will charge whilst you're in the pits, so everybody will want to save the overtake button after they've exited the pits, so they can have a good chance of making overtakes later on down the line. So now HTR Creations has caught up to Thallo, and Thallo is trying to close this gap between him and Smiggy. Smiggy's currently sat in 5th place. Smiggy seems to be making light work. He's got a good amount of ERS available. He'll be wanting to save that though for the DRS sector, so he's currently trying to get within the slipstream of Smiggy to increase his pace and try to overtake him. And Ben has pit, leaving a 5-second gap between Ennis Bay and Matthew. That will leave Matthew rather comfortable up in front. Smiggy is now up into 3rd place as a result of Benjamin going into the pits. Armour King and Pepsi are now fighting between each other, and Pepsi is trying to overtake Benjamin now on 10-lap old, and we have a yellow flag between the Mercedes and the Alpine, and we have a fastest lap from EcoRaptor, a 1:31. That will be an extra point to the fastest car. Unfortunately, I need to excuse myself to go to the toilet, but I will leave you on board with EcoRaptor and the battle between him and Creations. And NSB's got a 3-second time penalty against his 5-second penalty that he already has, which will not position drastically if another safety car occurs. But as it stands, he's got a 7-second gap between him and Smiggy, which would mean he would be in 3rd as it stands. But anything can happen. But Ennis Bay has now pit, so I think he will be able to serve some of his time penalty in the pits here. And Smiggy's gone into 1st as a result of Matthew and Ennis Bay pitting. So now he has to wait 5 seconds of his... Oh wait, no, he's waiting for the entirety. And here we go. He goes onto the medium tyres and now in front. And there's an 8-second gap between Matthew and Smiggy. But Smiggy needs to take into account that his hard tyres will not last forever. They won't last forever, and he needs to be very careful of how he's racing as he needs to strategize around this. But I think he might be hoping for a safety car right about now, nearing about lap 20 to 22. So he can go on to soft, so he has as much grip as physically possible on the track, so he can make good defending, good overtakes if need be. So now Armour King is behind Ennis Bay. I was going to go to the toilet, but there seems to be a lot of battles here. And by the looks of things, everything's quite close to call. So I'm going to excuse myself temporarily, leaving you on board with the Red Bull. Sorry about these few minutes of silence. We are back, and Eco-Raptor has DNF'd. I'm sorry I missed that, but we are now on a safety car yet again, so everybody will be hitting now and changing to softs to try make the race last better. And as I've been gone, Smiggy has changed to the softs as I predicted. Matthew will not want to give up that first place, but in overall tyre advantage, Smiggy has got the advantage due to racing, due to the fact he can take corners with a bit more ferocity and aggression, and he'll be able to take corners a lot more deep without having to worry too much about slipping away. But he needs to avoid the grass and avoid overheating those tyres, because overheating the soft will not be good. It will wear the tyres down and end up losing you'll end up losing grip as a result of overheating tyres. Fallow's trying to catch up to the rest of the pack. Changed to softs on a last minute strategy change. The advantage of changing to new tyres in a safety car is that you can manage your tyre temperatures a lot more efficiently than you normally do. You can manage them more efficiently, hold the temperature, and it means less tyre wear, so they're less worn out on race restart. But you have to be careful when taking corners or riding curves, because again that can impact the wear on the tyres. So now we're waiting for Thallow to rejoin the back of the pack, and once everybody's rejoined the pack, the safety car will go around for one more lap, and then before that lap ends, the safety car will go into the pits and everybody will be able to return to racing speed. This is just more explanation for anybody who doesn't get it. Some do, some don't, but I'd like to be inclusive to everybody here who's watching. To any new racing fans out here, thank you for choosing Hyper Tier Racing for your action-packed this action race tonight. We've got 4 cars DNF, which is unfortunately Eco-Raptor, Harvey Booth, Sam and Dezo, who will not be scoring any points tonight. Now that the car is caught up, the safety car is in this lap, so Matthew will want to hold back the pack as much as physically possible, keep his tyres warm and make sure they last. But as I say, Smiggy will have the advantage, but he doesn't want to drive too hard, otherwise those softs will not last him the entire stint. And we're back up to racing speed, and Smiggy is slowly catching up to currently catching up to the car in front. No DRS yet. DRS will be activated in another 2 laps time, and Creations has currently made it back in front of Armour King. This will be good points for the championship for Creations. Ennisbay still has a time penalty against him, so if he doesn't extend the gap between him and the cars behind, he will be sat in 8th position by the end of the race. So Smiggy will want to stay within that 1 second gap to make sure he can make a solid overtake, although he'll be wanting to save that overtake button as much as he physically can, so he could make a lot quicker overtake. Now I'm going to explain DRS, as some people don't get that. So DRS is basically when the wing here opens at the back, and that allows aerodynamics and wind car, making it flow a lot more cleaner, which will allow more speed under acceleration, allowing you to overtake faster, keep better pace. But in order for it to activate, you need to be within 1 second of the car in front. Now we have a fair few close battles at the back. Armour King is trying to make an overtake on Ben. Ennis Bay is trying to catch up to his teammate Smiggy here. Creation catching up to Ennis Bay. Thalo and Benjamin have put a second's gap between each other. Thalo is now currently trying to catch up to Creations yet again. But Smiggy seems to be holding the line quite well. He'll want to get in front of Matthew and try hold his position until the end of the race. And as it stands, if he doesn't do this, we will have a race winner in Matthew, and I do believe we have another safety car. Ben has crashed out. So that means Matthew now has an open opportunity to change to soft tyres, which will mean that Smiggy has a choice to make here. He can either stay on these softs until the end of the race, or he can see if he's got any more new soft tyres at his dispersal, change to those so he can give an equal fight to Matthew. A lot of DNFs here on Suzuka. It's unfortunate for everybody. Safety car central here tonight at Suzuka. Hopefully Smiggy hasn't worn his tyres out too much before the race start again. But as it stands, there will be 2 more laps of racing. 3 counting the 7th lap. So Matthew will want a really clean start, and Smiggy will want to use that overtake button to his advantage. Now he has full charge. I have now had a comment from you saying a big fan on my private messages, simply because they like the name. It is a pretty good name, so Smiggy, you have a fan. No doubt after going through Sector 2 into Sector 3, we will have a announcement of racing speed yet again, and that is when I will be joining onto the camera feed following Matt to see the race unfold before our very eyes. Safety car is now in. Safety car is now in. Ooh, when we've had contact between Smiggy and Matthew, that might go against Smiggy. And we are now back up to racing speed. Matthew wasting no time to build a gap between himself and Smiggy, and now Smiggy is using his overtake button to his advantage, trying to close the gap between them, and Enspe has now made an overtake. Gap between Matthew and Smiggy. The gap between Matthew and Smiggy has now extended. You've got to wonder how Smig's tyres are doing. But no doubt Smiggy will want this first position. Second position will be good to him either way for the championship, but first place is the ultimate goal for him tonight. Now Smiggy will want very good corners coming into here, making sure he's catching up, but the gap's ever extending, and as it stands, Matthew will be winning this race, and he's set a fastest lap of a 1:31.469. And the gap has been extended. I don't think Smiggy will be able to get first place tonight, unfortunately. Unfortunately for him, it looks like second place will have to be settled for, unless if Matthew is pressured into a mistake. The pressure can mount when you're in first position to keep that first position, but Matthew is very much in his comfort zone here. He has won many races in the past, and no doubt he will be having his next race win here tonight as it stands, and again, no doubt he will want to keep his head on and make sure that his gap between himself and Smiggy stays as wide as possible. But Creations has made a very good recovery from this race thanks to the safety cars and the immaculate overtakes he's made. Back into third position, good points for the championship, And now we approach the final lap. Unless if something miraculous happens to Matthew now, he will win in Suzuka here tonight, and he sets another fastest lap of 1:31.171, and it doesn't look like Smiggy will be able to catch up. His tyres are probably wearing out right about now. 8 laps old, he's pushing them to the nth degree, but by the looks of things, it's not going to be enough. Second place is always a very good venture here, but it's just not enough. So Smiggy's now 3 seconds behind, and it does look like that Matthew will be winning a Grand Prix here tonight. Smiggy and HTR Creations on the podium, and it looks like that Ennis Bay might end up falling to the back of the pack due to the time penalties that he has against him. It's been a chaotic race tonight, but it looks like the Alfa Romeo with the Italian Ferrari engine will be going all the way tonight. Going into the final straight, about to cross the line, and it's Matthew with the fastest lap, and he wins the Japanese Grand Prix, followed by Smiggy Creations, and that is the end of the race. Matthew has won the race, much to his delight and much to Smiggy's disdain, and Smiggy has rightfully won Driver of the Day. He has made excellent recoveries from going to the back to the front, and he has made amazing progress tonight. Very hard fought drive from Smiggy tonight, but unfortunately it wasn't quite enough. But to the winner goes the spoils. Matthew claims another Grand Prix victory, and Creations has recovered exceptionally and extended his lead in the championship, but we have to wonder, where will Matthew be placed in the championship contenders? And the champagne all round at the Alfa Romeo garage, and Haas have got to be happy with the result that Smiggy has managed to pull off. So there we have it. There we have it. Of all finishing cars, we have Matthew, Smiggy, Creations, Thallo, Armour King, Petski and Ennis Bay currently in last place, but in 7th place, so it's still good points. And Ben, Raptor, Harvey, Sam and Deb, unfortunately not scoring any points this evening. Heartbreak for everybody who DNF'd tonight. But after all of that, I hope you all enjoyed the commentary tonight, despite all of the filler and all of the horse migrations and crashes and everything like that. That's just hyper-tier racing, and that's just how Formula 1 goes sometimes. But I hope you enjoyed it, and from me, Sir Badger, it's good, and we'll see you in round 8.